Guam, Shattered Innocence, the tragic case of Polly Klaas. In the peaceful town of Petaluma, California, where the gentle hum of suburban life creaked with the cadence of laughter and routine, the arrival of autumn in 1993 seemed to promise more than just a change in weather. Halloween was just weeks away, and families prepared for playful costumes and spirited gatherings. Yet, beneath this picturesque veneer, an undercurrent of fear and vulnerability simmered, soon to erupt into a tragic event that would grip the nation. Polly Klaas, a bright and spirited 12-year-old girl, was the embodiment of childhood joy. With a love for dance and an infectious smile, she was the kind of girl who radiated warmth. On the night of October 1st, 1993, Polly hosted a sleepover for two friends. After tucking them into bed, she ventured to the living room to finish her book, blissfully unaware that evil lurked nearby. That evening marked the beginning of a nightmare that would alter the fabric of her community forever. As the night wore on, the friends fell asleep, unaware of the darkness drifting towards them. A stranger, a man named Richard Allen Davis, slipped into the Klaas home through an unlocked door. Davis, a repeat offender with a history of violence and sexual assault, was a man whose life choices had spiraled into a destructive cycle rooted in his own trauma. He had spent years evading responsibility, but tonight he would commit an act that would echo through the halls of history. At around midnight, Polly was abducted from her home. Waking to find her missing, her friends alerted Polly's mother, Eve Klaas, who dashed downstairs, heart racing, fear swelling in her chest. The discovery that Polly was gone initiated a frantic search, turning the once serene night into a chaotic search effort. Friends, neighbors, and law enforcement scoured the area, calling out her name, their voices tinged with desperation and dread. Within hours, the local police mobilized, launching one of the most intensive searches in California history. The Klaas home became command central, brimming with officers, volunteers, and media, each hopeful that Polly would be found safe. As days passed with no word, the growing anxiety thickened the air, culminating in the conviction that they were racing against time. Investigators paid particular attention to registered sex offenders in the area. It was a grim task considering the potential nightmare facing Polly's family. Davis, living in a nearby town, quickly emerged as a person of interest due to his previous criminal record. His behavior had become increasingly erratic. Friends and family noted his escalating tendencies, displaying an addiction to drugs and a growing disconnect from reality. Ultimately, it was Davis's own negligence that would lead to his downfall. After several days of investigation, where police diligently pieced together witness reports, Davis was arrested on October 27th. During police interrogations, the threads of his confession began to unravel, revealing the horrific truth of what had happened to Polly. He had lured her into a car and, in a moment of calculated cruelty, ended her life. The news that Polly's body had been discovered in a nearby forest reverberated across the nation, drowning communities in sorrow. The avid search had transformed into a mourning process as leaders, activists, and everyday citizens grappled with the loss. The tragedy highlighted the dangers children face and sparked widespread calls for legislative change aimed at protecting the most vulnerable. The trial of Richard Allen Davis was a spectacle that laid bare the deepest fears of a community that had believed themselves secure. The courtroom was a cacophony of anguish and anger as Polly's family confronted Davis, holding him accountable for the loss of their daughter. The prosecution presented compelling evidence paired with emotional testimonies that illustrated the impact of Polly's death on her family. Ultimately, Davis was convicted of first-degree murder and kidnapping and was sentenced to death. In the wake of this tragedy, California's laws surrounding sex offenders were scrutinized and overhauled. The case incited movements aimed at protecting children, including the establishment of the Polly Klaas Foundation, which was dedicated to child safety and raising awareness about abduction prevention. Years have passed since that fateful October, but Polly's story continues to resonate, an enduring reminder of the fragility of innocence and the darkness that can infiltrate the most unassuming lives. The psychological scars left on her community run deep, and for many, the question lingers: how can we ever safeguard against the unpredictable tides of human nature? The story serves as a cautionary tale, urging vigilance and empathy in a world where the shadows can sometimes eclipse the light. As we reflect on the loss of Polly Klaas, we remember not just the tragedy, but also the resilience of a community that has vowed to honor her memory by ensuring that such a crime never fades into obscurity again. The haunting echoes of her laughter remind us that the quest for justice is not just a fight for one, but for all who seek safety and hope in an often perilous world.